At 11:14 on a warm Monday in March, my phone buzzed with an alert. Someone was here to pick up my daughter. I teach 7th grade math at Arroyo Vista Middle, a low stucco school at the far edge of Socorro County, New Mexico. There's nothing close by, another campus 15 miles south, a gas station 3 miles out on the highway, and a scrubby little park you can reach by cutting across the arroyo behind our track. We're the kind of place where the wind steals your worksheets if you don't pin them, and the desert sky is so big it makes you feel small enough to vanish. The alert glowed across my lock screen. Parent pickup request for Maya Townsend. Authorized adult. Biological father. I stared at it so long the kids started looking at me instead of the board. Maya isn't my biological daughter. She is the court papers on my kitchen counter and the school picture taped above my desk and the dimple that only shows when she laughs hard enough to forget she's trying to be 12 and serious. I became her guardian after my best friend, Layla, was murdered in 2017. The man who did it, Layla's husband, Matthew Cole, made the national news for the other bodies the detectives found after her. 5 murders, 3 life sentences, no parole. Maya's classroom is 3 doors down from mine. She had no dentist appointment, no early pickup, and no living relatives inside 100 miles who are allowed within arm's reach of her. I texted the number the alerts come from. I'm on campus. No authorized pickup within 10 miles. Who is this? The reply came back with terrible calm. Sir, it says biological father. We don't keep that phrase in our records. I walked to the wall phone, dialed the office, and asked the secretary to send Maya to my room with a hall monitor. I kept my voice light so my students wouldn't hear the tightness in it. When I hung up, the classroom felt too bright. The hallway speakers coughed, and then the siren hit, shrill and flat enough to sand the edge off your thoughts. Lockdown, said our principal over the intercom, steady but urgent. This is not a drill. My kids froze. I didn't. We'd practiced this. I waved them into the corner, had the 2 biggest boys shove the bookcase in front of the door window, killed the lights, pulled the blinds. Desks went sideways to make a wedge. I moved among them, saying the same 3 words I always do during drills. Knees, hands, breathing. The room softened into dark. I knew exactly who I was hiding them from. We stayed that way for 46 minutes. The desert wind pushed sand against the windows. A girl's nose started bleeding from the panic and the dry air, and I pressed a wad of tissues into her palm and nodded for silence. I kept thinking of the question a detective had once asked me at our dining table when Maya was 6. If he ever got out, where would he go first? 2 hours after the first alarm, a deputy in a tan uniform knocked our door code and had me step into the hall. He walked me to the office, past the line of backpacks stacked like little bodies against the wall. 2 detectives were waiting with clipped voices and patient eyes. They asked me to tell them again how I knew Matthew Cole. I told them everything. Layla's laugh, the call in the night, the custody hearing, the way Maya sleeps with her toes curled under like she's bracing for a cold wave that isn't coming. The taller detective rubbed at his temple. There was a transport this morning, he said. State corrections bus moving inmates from Torrance to a facility up north. Out on 60, just past the cattle guards, a sedan crossed the center and hit the bus broadside. It looks deliberate. 10 inmates died at the scene. 2 officers went unconscious. 20 prisoners ran. He didn't have to say a name. I felt it anyway, like a bar of ice pressed along my spine. We had a unit sitting on your house, the shorter detective said. He didn't show. Then the school called about a pickup attempt, and we knew. We locked you down while we swept. They hadn't found him. Not on campus, not in the arroyo, not wedged under the bleachers the way I'd pictured as I counted kneecaps and breaths in the dark. He was only a shadow passing along a fence line, a man whose name warped your stomach when you said it. They escorted me to the parking lot when the all clear finally came through, lights throwing blue across the pale dust. Teachers clustered in small circles, the way people do when they want to look brave in front of children. Maya stood with a counselor, cheeks streaked, backpack hugged to her chest. When she saw me, she made a sound that wasn't quite a word and folded herself into me like she was trying to climb back inside the safest part of the world. We went home under patrol car shadow. Two officers walked the house with their hands hovering near their belts while I made hot chocolate I wouldn't drink. Maya kept her shoes on, ready to run. I didn't take mine off either. He never came to our door. Maybe the crash took more out of him than the detectives think. Maybe he changed course when he realized the school was ready. Maybe he just wanted to see her face and prove to himself that he could. Sometimes I tell myself that if the deputies hadn't been there, I would have handled it. I would have done all the right things, said all the practiced phrases, wedged my body in whatever space was needed. But I wake at 2 a.m. to the sound of the wind slipping around the eaves and know the truth. Without those sirens, we were just a phone alert and 3 doors of hallway away from whatever he had left in him. The next morning, the desert sky looked exactly the same as it always does, impossible and blue. I drove Maya to school. We signed in twice and locked my classroom door between periods. We practiced fractions with the blinds up and the sun laid out in squares across the desks. Her pencil made a soft, sure sound on the paper. If there is a miracle in any of this, it lives in how ordinary the day looked while the worst thing I know circled us, searching for a way in.